like
Mm,
like Papa
lovely.
John's pizza. It
Never had
only
Papa
gets
John's pizza.
it only gets better with garlic butter.
Jokes aside, garlic butter is like, oh, it's like toast bread. It's just heavenly.
No, 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 no. See, garlic butter is an American invention. What you are referring to is a confit of garlic. Garlic confit.
I think I
It's
speak for a lot of
French.
people. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say the what now?
Garlic butter is American because there's butter in it. And every Frenchman knows you don't corrupt butter with flavorings, and it's not butter. Hence, if it's a culinary disaster, it's an American one. But a garlic confit is healthy for you. It's made out
Mm.
of olive oil. Very European.
Mm. Yeah, my favorite logic. Just drink Diet Coke to balance out the amount of sugar you eat today.
Oh, wi- I was trying to find some way to naturally segue this into our allergens, but natural segue. Yeah. So the cliffhanger that we left off was us sharing our near-death experiences with food.
Yeah. Also, welcome to Too Many Bards.
Yes, yes, yes. Welcome to Too Many Parts. You can tell we are the best organized people on the internet. Oh man. But yeah, welcome to Too Many Bards. I'm Mazar and that's Patsy. And we try to be educational and entertaining. Think we haven't really succeeded at either. But at
No,
least we can tell
educational,
you.
definitely. I learned a lot about rivers last time.
Yeah, yeah. And I learned that you actually had food allergens. I thought nothing could kill you.
Now give me enough of something, it'll kill me eventually.
I'm just imagining you're like, yo, if you give me enough black pepper, it'll kill me eventually. Just the black pepper continues to be ground into your mouth.
Essentially, yes, but you need like only 1 tablespoon to probably hospitalize me, because my tolerance for spicy food is non-existent. Let me just put it this way: my tolerance for spicy food is the amount of tolerance that exists in the United States for intolerant people.
That was quite the conundrum. So I'm just going to say your tolerance for spicy food is the equivalent of you sweat after eating a spoonful of sugar.
You could say that. Almost there. It's like somebody's like, "Oh, there's some pepper in there." In here, I'm like, "Don't say."
Well, I mean,
Tomato sweating on the side.
I'll give you a good example of one time. It didn't affect me. It did affect my brother, and that was
You have a brother?
I have a brother. It's true. I have, believe it or not, siblings.
I know you have sisters, but brother? I mean, damn, I thought I knew you. We know each other for 12 years. No, wait, more. 14 now.
I mean, you never asked.
Yeah, that's so natural. Hi, my name's Patty. What do your parents do for a living? How many siblings do you have, and what are their names and occupations?
And then you scream at them, fascist, you kick them in the knees, and you run away.
Pretty much, yeah. Also, fun fact. This is how how I made fun of my mom, because every time I would meet a new person back in school, and well, she stopped doing this by the time I got to college. She was like, "Oh, that's nice. Who are your parents? What do you do? I'm like, yes, mother. This is the perfectly normal world in which I say, hi, Mazar. My name is Patsy. What do your parents do? What are your parents' names and what do they do?
Please hand me all their banking information, their IRS tax receipts from the past 10 years, and what's it called? A bank statement on the college fund they've got saved for you.
So, like when I laid it out plain as plain as that, she realized what the hell she's been doing. It's like, Mom, how do you segue that into a conversation without sounding awkward? Especially as a teen, when like blinking the wrong way is awkward.
I mean, I'd like to imagine, the reason why she uses you is to avoid being culpable or like all this snooping, as if she says something that's out of pocket and people are like, how did you know that? And she'd just be like, oops, loose lips Patsy tells everyone's dirty laundry outside.
Oh man, nah, like she really had a way with words, and I'm being sarcastic because at one point some construction was happening around a friend's house, so they had to shut off their water supply for like 2-3 days, which isn't an issue until you realize that you kind of need water in like your everyday life for everything. You can't brush teeth without it. I mean, you can, but you're not going to wash out that stuff. Washing dishes is a foreign concept now.
Paper plates.
You can forget about making coffee. Anyway, so once my mom was like to this other girl's mom, she was like, oh, I love your new hair. Your new hairstyle. She's like, oh no, they shut off our water supply for like the past 3 days. We had no water. She's like, oh, so you're just dirty. There was like 4 other people standing around, okay? This was not like just a one-on-one conversation, okay? There was like 4 other people besides the 2 of them.
It's just how like seriously out of pocket, just pale-faced comment. Oh, so you just dirty. You're dirty because you're poor, so you're poor and dirty.
No, they were far from poor, but like the worst part is, you know how my mom looks. So imagine just she saying that with a smile, completely innocently, and then her brain catches up to what she said.
I love how it's like, what is it? Like, not with ill intent. It's just stuff that comes out because it's like the rational thing to say. And then you realize, in other cultures, some thoughts are thought and some thoughts are spoken, and those shouldn't cross.
Yeah, man. Like, the cultural differences are a warm advice to anybody who like changes cultures, quote unquote, meaning moves like more than two borders away. Trust me, that's far enough for cultural change.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you're going, in which direction. It's just, man, like, educate yourself in advance. Trust me.
Yeah. So what you're sort of hinting at is that you're only truly what's the word? When you have that ability to do something, you're only truly able to do something, like have a cultural exchange, if you're more than 2 borders away when you travel. What's the word?
I'm intentionally letting you hang here, you know that.
The word of the day. No, it's not
Is
like from God or...
gonna be said later, because we didn't cover the allergen part, remember?
We will get back to that if we are...
competent, which we're not, but that's beside the point.
The word...
Did I ever tell you that it severely annoys me when people speak this way?
How do you imagine I feel?
Do I speak that way?
No.
Thank you.
I was just trying to hurt your feelings. The word of the
Yeah,
day.
that wouldn't have hurt my feelings. That was just like a reality check for me, where like, wait, do I speak this way? No, I make a point not to.
It's almost like you're...
Competent.
The word is capable. The word of the day is capability, and its ugly sister, incapability. That's 2 words. You know, they're related. We give them a half off each. Yeah, capability.
You could have avoided this. You could have avoided the sexist rebuke by just saying its ugly counterpart.
It's not in the sense of that there's a
I
gender
know.
involved. It's like sister cities.
I'm just yanking your chain here.
Sir, do I look like a water closet?
From a good angle.
Moving on.
You can pass this far. Oh boy.
Since you seem to have all this pent-up energy, to come right after me, right out of the gate, why don't you start with one of the topics about capability?
All right. My stomach's incapability to ingest fish. So, back in the oldie time, when I was but a wee lass? Sure, I've changed genders in the meantime, definitely. When I was a wee lad.
I'm sorry, did you... You didn't tell me some things, apparently, about your past.
No, I just said lass by accident. No. Back in the oldie time, when I was a wee lad, I could eat fish normally, but at some point in my life, my body was like, you know what? We're not gonna make this fatal, but we're gonna make it feel like it is. To such a degree that doctors are gonna do nothing about it because there's nothing to be done, but you're gonna suffer. So, in short, if I were to eat, let's say, more than, I don't know, like not even a third of a chicken nugget, if that's any measure, or like 2 squares of sugar, so to say,
Okay.
of fish. Doesn't matter. Cooked, deep fried, doesn't matter the way you prepare it. If I eat that, my stomach decides it's gonna crank up and it's gonna shut down for the next 8 hours, and my options are be in a fetal position on your left or your right, and that's my life.
I mean, I'm very curious, which was like the... Now you say it, you weren't originally, like, at your earliest recollection, allergic to it, but somehow it manifested. No. I want you to think about the missed opportunity that was the last time a young Patsy ate fish and didn't feel like his world was coming to an end. Did he miss out or savor that moment? You can never truly know.
Oh, we can. Most fish smells rancid when prepared. It's only when it's actually fully done that it smells nice. Up until it's properly cooked and everything, it smells like something died. Yes, we know it did. But neither chicken or any other feathery meal or any other actually food that I've eaten so far of any cattle of any sort, farm animal for that matter, none of them smell as rancid as fish when they're getting prepared.
I think it's because fish are cold-blooded, isn't it?
You might be onto something.
I think that might have something to do with it. As for
I've never eaten frog though.
You've never eaten what?
I've never eaten frog or snake, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't smell as rancid. Like I just have an inkling. I will eat frog one day. Like I have that on my bucket list. Snake too, but
I mean, like you do realize that you can get canned snake meat, right? And you can take a whiff of that, and you can tell me if that smells good or not.
Well, hence the issue. Canned. I don't want it canned. I want it prepared in front of me. Sorry, but I'm when it comes to food preparation, I'm not a very trustworthy person. No, trusting. Sorry, wrong term. I'm not a very trusting person.
I think it goes both ways.
You're not wrong. I mean, damn, if I don't cook chicken properly, you're gonna die.
Yes, remind me never to eat chicken from your place. But
I mean, last time you did, it looked like a Neanderthal just took my place. Because if I remember, you were half expecting me to break the bone and suck the marrow out, if I may quote you on that.
what do you mean half expecting? I legitimately was confused that there were still bones left on the plate. I was like, surely
Yeah.
you just
I
inhale
picked
the
them
chicken.
like some Hindu god.
Just, the bones crunch as your powerful esophagus. What would the term be? Like,
Anyway,
grinds
your
them into a
allergens.
pulp?
I'm curious.
Hmm?
Your allergens. I'm curious.
Yeah, so my allergens were predicted by the stars themselves. This is where you ask me, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
That is right, Patsy. I was born under the sigil of the Cancer. Can you guess what
You're
I'm...
allergic
What?
to. You're allergic to crabs and
Correct!
crustaceans.
Correct. I discovered this.
Like how
Uh,
allergic?
uh,
Like deadly allergic?
as in, my body begins to itch and inflate. I can still breathe, but like, I get a very sore throat.
Yeah, that's because it inflates.
Not inflated enough to kill me, so it's like cosmic karma. The punishment I pay for eating my brethren is anaphylactic shock.
You go into shock, you come out of it, you're fine.
But joke's on them, cosmic crabs. In their corporeal form, I am the winner, and I am the king crab that gets to eat the king crabs.
I like that wording. That was a nice wording. I felt like Donkey from Shrek right now.
But yeah, for some reason, shellfish don't like me. I sort of got over the taste because of the fact that I couldn't eat it regularly. So, it's the idea of sour grapes. Like, I know what it tastes like. It didn't taste particularly good. Now that I can't eat it, I want it more, and I resent that.
Nah, I'm a very simple person when it comes to what I eat and what I don't eat. It's like, my body doesn't crave anything at the moment, but it's hungry. Guess I'm fasting.
Oh, but like, we're talking about forbidden fruits, like fish, for example, for you. What if you really liked fish, but then you trained yourself to resent it because of the fact that it's forbidden to you?
That actually happened, but for chocolate and everything that's super sweet that isn't liquid, because I used to grind my teeth in my sleep. So I wore down my teeth pretty badly, for that matter, to the point where a dentist would look at my teeth. He's like, "Oh, damn, you grind your teeth, right? You just sleep?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So, and the thing is, they can't do anything about it. They can just like recommend for me to use
Off guard.
toothpaste with fluoride or something like that. And yeah, so whenever I would eat chocolate, I would bite down on chocolate, would be a better term. It would feel like, like when a dentist is poking around with that little pokey thing,
Yeah.
I forgot its name, and he finds that one painful spot.
Yeah. The pick, it's called.
Yeah, with the pick, yeah, except he doesn't let go for another minute.
Ooh. He just like hooks it
And
under
that's for
and
like,
just keeps it there. Yeah.
yeah, and that's for like 8 teeth. I think it was my 6 or my 7. It's one of those, or both of those actually, on both sides, up and down.
So the pain taught you to hate chocolate, apparently.
Not hate, just to be like, hey, you want chocolate? Nah, I'm good. And that was just my default setting. And now that I can eat it again, that setting is really hard to get out of, because I've been doing it for over 10 years now, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm good. And then I'm like, oh wait, I can eat chocolate now. And then I eat just like 3 squares of chocolate. I'm like, you know what, this is fine. And then now it's starting to be a little spicy when you have too much chocolate. It just goes somehow turns spicy, and you're like, I'm gonna stop now. But, because of that, I can indulge myself every once in a while. I go and buy an entire Snickers bar, and I shove the whole thing in my mouth, and then I just chew profusely for like 2-3 minutes straight.
Okay, something like just because it's come up so often, right? You and your fascination with the Snickers bar. Have you?
I'm sorry for repeating myself. My memory is
Oh no,
shit.
it's no. This isn't a matter of repetition. At this point, the Snickers bar is part of your character.
It is.
Have you ever tried a deep fried Snickers bar?
No, and I don't think I'd want to, simply because I like my favorite. I like the Snickers bar the most when it's out of the freezer.
Mm. Well, here becomes my question.
You
This
know,
is just extra steps,
Yep.
right? But what if you coat the Snickers bar in batter, fry it so it becomes all gooey inside, stick that in the freezer, and then you've got like a softer version of
It's
it.
just dude, that's just a Snickers bar with bread on it.
So is all ice cream. like,
Like-
I'm trying to pass it off as something cold to enjoy. Because you're like, I prefer them frozen.
No. I don't mean it like nice and gooey, but still chilly. No, I'm talking frozen solid. Like that's the kind of Snickers I like to chew the most, because that actually requires effort to bite down on. Like, have you ever tried biting off that? Biting that off?
I have tried like trying to bite into frozen chocolate, and it was very painful.
Yeah, I actually like doing that.
How? like, how?
I'm a persistent boy.
You don't even have the teeth. You're talking about having like canine teeth to be able to like break through the brittle frozen. It's basically a bone for humans.
I know this isn't much of an achievement, but apparently I've spoken to enough people where they're like, how can you do that? I can easily like chew down cooked chicken bones easily.
Oh my god.
I don't want to, and I don't need to, but I've tried it a few times, and it's not that big of a deal.
So what you're saying when it comes to chicken bones is that you are capable but unwilling.
Yes, very, because it tastes like shit. Oh my god, they taste so bad. Which segues very nicely into our next subgenre, which is capability and unwillingness, which is a topic very familiar, especially if it's job related. It's like, hey, can you do this? I am able to. I do not wish to. Thank you.
You know what it actually reminds me when like you suggested capable but unwilling? For some reason, okay, I don't know why. Maybe I watched like way too much Boondocks. The first thing I thought of was like Boys in the Hood, right? Where you've got a man who's
Okay.
capable of being a husband and a father, but is unwilling to be both. Like, I either raise the boy my way, or what's it called? With you or without you. Like, so his entire narrative, and of course, the other part of it is he rags on the other boys for not having dads, and his father is like, oh,
man.
you can't judge the way people live in life. Not everyone's ready, so on and so forth. But for some reason, when I heard capable but unwilling, it just came back to that stereotype of absentee fathers. I thought of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
And I felt like a horrible racist.
No. It's undiscriminate.
Yeah,
I mean, men. No, go on.
I think that the difference is, right, like, absentee fathers exist no matter what your race is, but because of things like systemic poverty in America, you sympathize more with the concept of, like black kids with absentee fathers than you would of, like, trailer trash people, You know, like if someone was white and they had an absentee father, you don't really sympathize with them very much. You know, but for some reason it's just more sympathetic, and thus there's that stereotype has just been associated with black culture, because I feel like it's also much more sympathetic than if you were to push other races of absentee fathers. Like
Uh,
The Simpsons, for example, white absentee father, and there's absolutely nothing endearing about him because they're like rednecks.
yeah. Among other things, it's really a cultural thing, not just like a race thing. It's for example, having an absentee father in my country, which we're not gonna name, is
Afghanistan.
almost a given. It's almost a given at some point. It's like, and it's not even that the father doesn't want to be involved. No, it's the mother who doesn't want to have him involved because she thinks he's a fucking loser. It's not that they had a bad breakup or that they got divorced. They weren't married in the first place. She just got knocked up, and then she's like, you know what? You're a pathetic loser. You know, I don't want to have to do anything with you. And then when you meet the guy, he's just a normal dude. That's it. He's not above or below the curve. He's just a normal dude. He's just
Very
an average
average, yeah.
Joe. You know, it's like I'm like, how is he a pathetic loser? Maybe you're a stuck-up bitch.
Why do I feel like you got really invested
I don't
in
know.
this story?
But dude, I actually know these people I'm mentioning. I'm just not mentioning them by name.
Okay, so let's possibly try and find something less dark and gloomy for capable but unwilling. So we went straight for the jugular with absentee
For
fathers
example,
and unwilling parentage. Or
well, let's see, capable but unwilling. That is like my work motto. Not just my work ethic. It's just like I'm a very laid back but also exceptionally lazy person. It's like I could be extremely hardworking both in my like private life and my work time, but it's like I don't really want to. Like I don't want to do anything that after which I'm done, I feel exhausted. It's like it's come to such a point. Now I know this is like annoying because I keep bringing up Magic, but shut up, okay? I love that game.
you absolute nerd, continue.
Like against certain people, I'm telling them like, dude, I don't even want to play with you because playing with you is about like I think I find doing dishes more entertaining. No, I'm sure I find doing dishes more entertaining than playing with
Yeah.
some people,
But
which says a lot.
I mean, it says a lot about their character for sure. But like here becomes the question, right? If everyone was
Hmm.
willing to do not, let's say, everything, but the most beneficial aspects of what they were capable of, do you think society would be better off or worse off?
Uh, Better off simply because well that's because I don't even know, can I even call myself an optimist, because I am, but then again I have a very harsh reality check with myself all the time where I'm like, yeah, this be nice, but let's be real, this is most likely gonna
I
happen.
mean, it sort of ends up, the idea that the thing that makes markets or whatever very vibrant is the fact that no one is the same level of capable when it comes to like their trade, right? So you have a bunch of variety of like options. If everyone was working at the best of their capable contribution, right? Everyone would basically reach a peak. Like this is how the best corn looks and will always look. And you go into the store and all the corn looks exactly the same. So that begs the question. Like, this was a lot of basically the boogeyman uh, things that were discussed during the Cold War. About communism and everything like that. Like, do you really want to live in a world where everyone has to eat the same thing, or there's no like wear the same clothes, so on and so forth? And I think if every,
You see that?
I was gonna say,
Go
like,
on.
if we all reach our, like, become willing to do the best of our capability, we just all start agreeing upon perfect or near perfect results. Make that the common for everyone. I don't know. It feels a bit mechanical.
I'm not. It is. So I'm not gonna go dark. I'm not gonna go down that alley. So what else I wanted to add was, yeah, capable but unwilling. On one of my job interviews. No, sorry. On one of my job interviews, what happened was, at the very end of the interview, when my future boss told me to, tell him something about myself, other than my hobbies and whatnot, I told him I am a lazy person. Just so you know, if I don't gotta do something, I'm not doing it. But I'm gonna bust my ass in order to be lazy sooner.
Mm.
And then it comes to a cross point where like, but that actually makes you very hardworking, not lazy. I disagree.
Mm.
I say that I'm lazy with a
Yeah,
goal.
if you're lazy but without ambition, that just makes you a bum. But if you're lazy and ambitious, that's actually a perfect match. Someone can be ambitious and lazy, because they're like, I just want the fastest route to the result. I don't care about the journey. They're still lazy and they're ambitious.
Hmm? I mean, I forget who said this, but I know somebody literally said this. I always like to give the hardest task to the laziest person in the office, simply because they're gonna find the easiest way to do it, or the
Yeah, if you want
fastest way,
fast or
regardless.
cheap results,
And I
that'd be
was
it.
always, yeah, and I was always like the forerunner, or the I think it's a forerunner. Wherever I worked, I was always the forerunner for that, where I would simplify something to such a degree where it's like I can show this to somebody who has no idea. I can show this to my 80-something-year-old grandmother, and there's so few steps involved that she'd be able to do it, even though she has no idea what she's doing or how she's doing it.
I was going to make a senility joke, but I think that's going too far. Like, can you imagine? I think that should be a competition, right? Where you take a bunch of children's book authors and their illustrators, and you give them one simple challenge: make a book so simple that a person who's senile can actually understand what it is. I think that should be like a championship
Uh,
tournament for those authors.
I think there is such a thing. I think the shortest story ever written was like 5 words, and that's polar bear in pink underwear, if I
You know
remember
all those
correctly.
people who do the ring inscriptions for their engagements, where some of them think they're
Yeah.
fancy pants and they put like things in Elvish. I would love a ring that has an inscription in Elvish of the shortest book in the world. And every time
And there's also this other
I was saying, like, and
go
every
on.
time people ask me, oh, are you a Lord of the Rings fan? Be like, psh, who wants to read that long book? I'm a fan of God knows who wrote this book, this 5-word book.
I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you'll find it quickly. But there's also this other competition where uh, the longest story written with nothing happening in it.
What?
Yeah, there's a legit well, it was at least like back when I was told about it. I don't know, is it still a thing? But yeah, the longest written possible story where nothing happens. So the main point is for nothing to happen in the story. And I remember there being a heated argument, a very, very big argument over the fact that one author wrote in one segment that mold was beginning to form on bread. And was that
That's
a thing
something
that
that happened. They were caught.
But is it though? Is it though? That's not something that is currently happening. It's not like water dripping. That's a continual
Except
thing that's going on. I mean, if you want to, if you want to go with that, I mean, turning of the sun is as well as gathering dust. You know, so
Oh no. No. I
you see where I'm
disagree
going
for
with it?
one important crucial component. We have the microscope, okay? And by definition, we're gonna simplify it here with caveats. The action must occur by having a actor that must be living. That mold is a bunch of living bacteria, thousands of them, doing action.
Incorrect.
Incorrect? Okay,
Incorrect.
fine. Flex your
Yes.
economics degree on me and tell me how I'm wrong.
To my knowledge, mold is. That depends. That depends what the mold is from. If the mold is from a spore that's from a mushroom, mushrooms are neither living nor dead. They're in the in between section.
They are the
It-
undead.
no, I'm serious. No, I'm serious. That's why in Warhammer 40k, orcs don't have souls, and that's why Chaos absolutely hates fighting them, because Chaos eats souls, which orcs do not have any of. So it's for them. That's just a waste
I
of
mean,
time and
no. If you want to
resources.
slim down, that's the equivalent of what are those noodles in Japan that like it costs more?
I don't know, but you did mention them. I don't know, but I know we
They're,
spoke of them at
they're
one
the
point,
noodles,
where
yeah.
it's like
The,
your body. Yeah, you shouldn't eat more than one of them a day, one serving of them a day, because you're essentially
yeah,
eating
because it's
plastic.
like it provides you with absolutely no calories. It ends up burning more energy of yours consuming them than you would have gotten out of them. But yeah, that's what orcs are to chaos. Get it? Like they're the diet pill, so that they can slim down, be
Yeah,
cool again.
yeah. Well, for some, yes. For others, not so much. But we're not gonna go into Warhammer 40k lore because we're just gonna get bashed. So we're gonna move
I
on to
actually
other
know very little
subjects.
to none, so if anyone's getting bashed, it's you.
Shut
Oh,
up.
okay. So, speaking of uh, wondrous deity-like forces of nature and power, I was thinking of this. A lot of
Do
capability
tell.
is a result of your sirage, right? I am capable because I inherited this thing from old Grandpappy Apple Cider. He had the ability to breathe underwater, and I inherited that, and now I am Merman. Okay?
I,
Now
I am
imagine
Merman.
like normal scenarios and fill in the blanks with all those those fictional ones. But here becomes the question. Okay. Does this mean that demigods also hand down genetic capabilities?
Hmm. Well, if we go by Greek mythology, they do. Except the only issue in that equation is the woman, because a god, when he sleeps with a woman, they get only a demigod out of it. When a demigod sleeps with a regular human woman, they get a mighty warrior. And when a mighty warrior sleeps with a regular woman, they just get a regular human.
I mean, the thing is, because you have Heracles, a demigod, falls in love with a mortal, has a child, so there's proven precedent that, demigods can have kids of their own with other mortals. Too bad, his stepmother, I guess, Hera would be, decided to completely flip his shit and make him go insane and murder his wife and child. But, the proof is there. Demigods can have children. And here becomes the question. Demigods technically have immortality, right? They have the ability to, like, not end up in Hades and be all, like, icky for the rest of eternity. Right? So, do their
Yeah.
kids also have that immortal gene?
No. Oh, speaking of genes, this is something that I actually enjoy. Okay, everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people bashed on X-Men Wolverine, or just Wolverine, you know,
Yeah.
when he's old and
Which
whatnot.
for I just want to
But
say,
there
when
is
he's
one
old
segment.
means absolutely
Go on.
nothing. Since the first time we saw him, he was like 180.
Yeah, but later on, which brings a little re- realism in a Marvel Cinematic Universe is just asking for trouble. But anyway, no, somebody actually pointed this out, and that makes perfect sense because our genes get shorter the more they get used. So at one point, his got shortened to the degree where his what's it called? Where his ability was. Thus, uh, it kind of going away. Where, for example, on the other end, you have Deadpool, who actually his what's it called? His regenerative ability doesn't come. Technically speaking, does come a little bit from Wolverine's. However, the fun fact of it is, he is just a walking ball of cancer. And cancer is notorious for refusing to die, meaning those are cells that are like 50 divisions. That's for amateurs. So his cells are gonna continuously keep dividing. And there's also, this is in the comic books only. Um, there's also this one other. I think I forget his name. This other mutant villain, whatever, who was dying from I don't know what, and he wanted to copy Deadpool's regenerative ability because he was more easily accessible than Wolverine. He didn't like sleep and or live in a heavily guarded stronghold with many other people
Yeah.
capable of killing him. This dude was just flying solo. So what happened was he got his ability, and the first thing he did with it was scream. Because cancer hurts
Yay!
a lot, especially if it's everywhere. So at that point, he realized, why is Deadpool insane? He lost his mind from the pain. And why most bullets and gunshot wounds are just like, hey, I
Yeah,
just
it's
washed
just
this.
little sprinkles, you know? It's not the cake.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons. I mean, sure, they don't put this in the movies because hey, we want kids to watch this too. But yeah, that's literally in the comic books. Like he is batshit insane from the
I mean,
pain.
yeah.
Also, there's literally scenes, panels where you see him not sleeping for days. Like he doesn't sleep for several days, and then just his brain shuts down because that's the normal thing for
I think
brains to do.
Deadpool was one of those characters that's very interestingly written, just due to the fact that he's basically constantly suffering a lot of trauma, and yet he doesn't really express it in the normal ways like we'd expect trauma. We'd expect it to be a bit darker, you know. None of his expressions are dark, other than his humor, basically.
Yeah, no, but there is one part in the comics where like he expressed proper trauma and everything, and he was very very human and not that foolish at all. And that was because I believe he failed. I forget what he failed at, but I know he did. He didn't die from it, but he failed at something, and he was just shattered. He was just in a fetal position with that. What's her name? I forget her
The
name.
old
That blind
lady,
lady.
yeah.
And she was just yeah, she was just essentially consoling him, and I forget who came to to see like we need your help, and she's like, if you don't leave, I'm gonna shoot you. Points a gun at a random
I think it was
direction.
Colossus, yeah. Not the movie, in the
No,
comics,
not the movie.
okay.
This was in the comics. Colossus wasn't there. No,
I
this
remember,
was
like,
somebody
even in the
completely
comics,
else.
like, there were
I don't
specific
remember.
people that were assigned to notify Deadpool, like, as a task, and they ended up, like, resenting having to do it, because it's always... He's just such a uncooperative person.
I mean, he's called the Merc with a mouth for a reason.
Yeah.
Give him enough money, he'll do anything.
Like, the funny thing is, a lot of people treat Deadpool, like a lot of other characters within that universe, treat Deadpool as if he's a child in like man form.
There is one comic book, only one issue, and I've never found where it is, where it shows up, but it was after Age of Ultron.
Okay.
And this one blonde teenager girl, she was planning to jump off a building. You know, and Deadpool's like, "What you doing there? Stand back, I'm gonna jump," and whatnot. He's like, "Well, I know you're expecting like Captain America or Spider-Man to swoop in, or Iron Man to, you know, blast his way in, but sorry, all you got is me."
Yeah.
You know, he eventually talks her down. Oh, what else does he do? He essentially beats up two very rich people to take her to a play. Like, I have tickets for this one super expensive play that's sold out for like a year in advance. She's like, "Oh my god, how?" Like, you know, he said, "I can get us tickets." She's like, "You said you could get us tickets." I never said how I'd get them.
Yeah, I think
it was
it's
Patton or
because
something.
he has that devilish rogue sort of character to him that makes him endearing. Because Deadpool sort of does what every one of us would do if we were like drowning in protagonist complex. Like, yeah, I wish I could be that kind of like main character of the story. Yeah.
That all you got is me. Yeah, and at the end, if I remember, it ends like very heartwarming because like he steals a Harley or something, and then he's driving down the road with her in the back. You know, and she's like, just, you know, he's like, "Oh, where do you want me to drop you off?" She says, "Any skyscraper will do." And he's like, "Well, this is your stop," and he's at like a suicide clinic. And she's like, "I trusted you, blah blah blah." And he's like, "Hey, I can't help you, but they can, and I already told him you're coming." And so yeah, it's a nice little heartwarming thing where Deadpool was actually a human for once.
Yeah, and I think it's good writing if you allow a character's humanity to just appear in small glimpses, you know, rather than writing to what like you'd expect. Oh, people want to become endeared towards this character. You know, they need to have a touching moment, a horrible backstory, something to that effect. It's like, no, just little nuggets. Keep people guessing and like enjoying. It'll keep your audience enthralled.
Yeah, or there's this bit in another comic where later, after the Deadpool movie came out, they just kind of put Negasonic Teenage Warhead as his secretary in his agency. And he just fully embraces the fact that she's a teenager, and it doesn't give her any flack or any hard time that she's essentially just on Twitter the entire day with her feet on the table doing nothing. Still pays her though.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think that issue was. I think that was the issue where a bunch of little kids, like age 7 to 11 top, show up with like a bag of money, and they want him to kill Santa, and that's a whole other story we're not gonna get into.
Well, what's it called? I actually have an interesting question for you because you're talking about Deadpool and his displays of humanity and everything like that. There was another situation where there's a character that displayed a lot of humanity, right? And since we're talking about capability, you're familiar with the movie AI, right?
The one with Will
that's
Smith?
iRobot. For me personally, like the reason
Oh, my
why
bad.
I would.
Wait,
Yeah,
AI with
AI
the
is the one with the little boy, and he has like the bear robot. It's sort of like.
I remember that movie.
It was
Oh,
really old,
that was ages
but it was
ago.
amazing for its time. And the best way I describe it is, think Dante's Purgatory, but for a robot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It really
And
is.
one of the things that really it really stirred up a lot of conversation when I was a teenager, with my family about the future and robotics and everything, was AI. Because we just sort of looked at this fictional representation that's supposed to be like hundreds of years into the future. And what's really displayed there is pretty basic. Like, it's not that far off. If we tried, we could do it now, you know? But, like, we sort of just really started discussing this concept of, the machine and the soul, and what differentiates between man-made creation versus a divine creation, or so on and so forth. If they both walk, talk, and act the same, would they thus not be entitled to the same, like, I guess, what's at your core or nucleus?
Well, here's the thing. I believe. Oh, what's his name? That famous astrophysicist has 20 something. No, not that, not him. This guy is African American, has like 20 something doctorates, became very popular in the last 10
Neil
years.
deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, that guy. Well, he mentioned that in our DNA, just like basic DNA, we are only 5% different than chimpanzees. Now put that into perspective and add something that's 5% in that respect more intelligent than us.
The gap really becomes expressive when you look at like the comparison.
Yeah, and he worded it quite nicely, where it's like, oh, our toddlers are learning colors. What are their toddlers doing? Astrophysics or string theory.
It's like their equivalent of the alphabet is to memorize the multiple patterns of string theory.
Or but to simplify it even easier, where our toddlers is, I shake this, it make noise learning. Their toddlers are like, oh, so when you combine helium and beryllium, you get this.
What do I feel like? Neil deGrasse Tyson is basically like throwing up all his accusations against like his classmates who are like the dum-dums. He's like, oh, you're in this class failing such a basic concept like understanding the difference between beryllium and lithium. You should go back to pressing the wooden blocks together.
Another sort of understanding the whole concept thing is, where was it? We're reading a little bit off topic here, but this is another thing I really wanted to talk to you about, and that's how simple magic is in certain systems. Not talking tabletop or anything like that. I'm talking like shows. So let's say you take Avatar: The Last Airbender. Their magic, quote unquote, is super simple. Then you have is just essentially just going through the notions. Nobody can write this down. And even the instructions are like, oh, you move your hands like this. I'm like, thanks. And then you have a more complex system of magic, which is like Harry Potter. That's the medium, by the way. That's a medium difficulty, because it's like still based on feeling, but there's words and whatnot, but there's no like upper limit of what they can do. Like there's no physical strain or anything. And then you have the super complex stuff, like Full Metal Alchemist, where every alchemist out there is a scientist, because the only way they can do alchemy is if they look at a clock and they know on a molecular level what is that clock made of.
Okay.
And then they have to deconstruct and reconstruct it within that boundary.
Yeah, see, the problem is when I look at Full Metal Alchemist, to me, it always felt too scientific to be magical anymore. I think the best, like the good middle ground, is that incantation magic where like you have to put some sort of word or action to represent the thought of the spell. The minute you start like adding super science into the issue, the magic loses the magic for me.
I like that small gap between magic and science. It's like it's that old joke where it's like a bunch of math equals a miracle happens. Literally, it says in the letters, a miracle happens equals a bunch of math. And then the professor's like, you're gonna have to explain step 2 a little better.
It's like, you have a promising result, but
Unironically, that's exactly what programmers do. And that's a very good definition of what an engineer is. Solving problems we didn't know we had in ways we don't understand.
like I've always been curious. Since we're on programming, right? Every time I think about this, it sort of scares me a bit.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Bethesda games, right? And how they always have like broken things, bugs and everything that goes on. Okay, and I was one of the people that like quickly got onto the Skyrim ground of like bugs. I used to watch that and like worship every single bug that was found. My favorite, by far, was the Gestapo chicken. If you did anything, remotely anything criminal, okay, within a 8-mile radius of those chickens, they would rat you out so fast, and you would get arrested immediately by the city guard. It's like, for murder, it's like, I killed a mud crab. It's like, chicken testified against you. Okay? But the thing that scares me is, if the rest of the universe, okay, worked the same way as computer programming, okay, all the NPCs in the land of Gestapo chickens think it's normal. What bugs are there in the real world out here that we think are normal? Like we're supposed to be something else.
Oh, isn't that called? Wait, what's the term red herring used for? I keep forgetting.
Sort of distraction. Like when you look at mystery novels and all that, it's the thing that's thrown in your face to capture your attention.
Okay, then I was using the wrong term. I think it's called not even a bandwagon. It was that old thing where like we don't know why we're doing this that we're doing, but the people before us were doing it, so we're doing it just to fit in.
It is the bandwagon complex.
Yeah, it's that experiment with monkeys, if you remember it, where like 10 monkeys were put in the room. There was a ladder, and at the top of a ladder there was bananas on a string. But the monkey would have to climb the ladder to reach the bananas, and anytime a monkey would do that, the sprinkler system would come on, and they would all get drenched. So whenever a monkey tried that, they would beat him up. Whenever even one monkey would attempt it, the rest would gang up on him and beat him up. So what the scientists started doing was switching out monkeys one at a time. They bring in a new one who doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know about the sprinkler system, but the other 9 sure as hell do. So he was like, "Oh, look, banana!" Goes up, starts going up the ladder immediately.
Like WWE SmackDown.
Absolutely floored. Yeah, by the rest, and he's like, "Okay, I guess we didn't do that here." Until and they kept switching them out until none of the monkeys knew why they're not allowed to climb the ladder. They just knew they shouldn't.
So, wow.
That's it. Like none of the original 10 that were in there that knew that a sprinkler system would come on. It's just that they were systematically switched out to such a degree that at the end, none of them knew why. Yeah. They just knew it's a bad thing.
Wow.
And we have this in real life. A lot of it. You actually stop it. If you stop and think about it, like, why do we do this specifically? And they're like, oh, it's tradition.
Yeah, with the concept
But
of,
why?
it kept our ancestors alive, it's still good enough to keep us alive and your children alive. You will do the same things.
Yeah, but some things are like really outdated. Like I can forgive a generational gap. Like I can forgive a gap of 100 years, but everything past that, it's like we've had 100 years. Okay, we're not elves. We don't live for like 2, 3, 5 millennia. Okay, we live 100 years at best. So everything that's been going on for over 100 years that we call tradition, but is actually harmful, if not useless. Hmm. Maybe,
Here's the thing.
maybe it
No
should exit
tradition
stage
presents
left.
itself as being harmful or useless, right? So, like, many of them would be arguably like, yeah, it is harmful in a modern context, but it's still useful. And that's why we keep doing it. Even though we know that we're essentially being abusive to ourselves or our children or whatever. That's like, it works.
Can I give one that's can I give
Oh,
one
yeah.
that's like legitimately harmful,
Yeah.
and I see no upside to it other than tradition? Kissing a picture on the same spot
Mm. Think of all the people you kiss
by
by
like
proxy.
100 people, out of which you maybe know 4. Yeah. Yeah. Really looking forward to that. What's it called? I know. I know. It's. What's it called?
Yes.
I
Mm-mm-mm.
forget. I forget the name of the
It's a
disease.
Mexican beer, isn't it?
Anyway, yeah, shut up. Anyway, no. Oh, nice, nice. Let's go with that. Let's leave
Oh
it
man.
there.
Uh,
Anyway,
well, I want. I
what else we got? What else was
what?
there? We went with a.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, I got confused for a minute. I was gonna say, right? We're gonna keep this one compressed, reduced, nice.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have something to add to the example you gave. Okay? Have you ever heard of crab mentality?
Mm-hmm. Isn't that also
Oh,
called sheep
no,
mentality,
no,
where
no, no, no,
everybody's
no,
just
no.
going in the same
This is
direction without
this
knowing
is
why?
different. This is just like your monkey example, okay? But no one can understand why. Like
Okay.
with the monkey example, obviously, it was
Oh, God.
just take a survival. It's dangerous. Don't do it. Okay, like there's a rationale that seems to be protecting oneself and one's group. Crab bucket mentality is the
Okay.
idea that as you begin to pile crabs into a bucket, okay, they begin to be able to actually reach up and
Mm-hmm.
pull themselves over and out of the bucket. However, it has been noted that other crabs will often grab onto them and drag them back in. Because, and for no better reason than just to be mean spirited and be like, if I'm dying, you're dying too. Like it's just
Wow.
baffling because normally a group works together for mutual benefit, and then you have crabs that are like, if most of us are dying, all of us are dying. They drag them back in.
Wonderful, wonderful mentality to have. But speaking of that, speaking of group effort and whatnot, um, let's go back to capability. Ants have one specific genus of ants has by far the largest brain to body ratio. I think it was like 12% of their whole body weight is their brain, which is baffling. I mean, I'm like, oh, like what? My weight is like 220 pounds or like 100 kilograms. 12% of that is like
That's a
12 kilograms,
thick
man.
brain.
It's a big brain, bruh. It's like a watermelon-sized brain, and I'm not talking a nice, shapely watermelon you can put on the table. You're gonna have to consider that table
Imagine
strength
how
and
hench
durability
our
if you want to put
shoulders would
that
have to
there.
be just to support this massive strain on our neck.
But then again, look at ants. I mean, come on, they're all like the entirety of the bug kingdom is essentially monsters, just really, really small. I mean, if you were to put, let's say, a praying mantis on a human scale,
Dude,
that thing would rip
that
through
thing
cars like
wouldn't
they're
even
not
need to
there.
rip through cars. Like, I think it would literally look at us as aphids and just immediately just scoop us up with its mouth. No grabbing needed. Just suck us up.
There's even a picture, you can find it, where there's a picture of a praying mantis with its jaws in like
Oh
the
my
back of a
God.
snake's head, eating it. I mean, yeah,
It makes
the
me
size of
wonder
the
because
snake's head is the
mantises are
size
like
of the
voracious
mantis.
carnivores, right? If they were our size, you know, to me,
Oh
it
yeah.
just makes the most sense that they'd go for the heftiest meat ever, and like all the mantises would flock to India for the elephants, and to like Africa for the elephants. So much of like the elephant-free nations will be safe because the mantis's favorite meal is the giant piece of meat that can't run away or jump or anything. Can't fight either.
Or jump. What is it gonna do? Swat me with that meaty
Trunk.
looking tusk? Not tusk. What's it called? Trunk. Yeah, man. What was it? I mean, I'm sure I was in the general area, but
I
I
just now
missed.
am imagining meaty tusks, and they're so floppy. Can you imagine if you reversed the tusks and the trunk on an elephant? It's like two floppy trunks and a giant horn in the middle. Yeah, exactly. It's
It's
just
just like a funny looking
ugly
reverse
cousin
rhino.
of the rhino.
And then we have Steve over there.
Here's an interesting thing. Since we're talking about capabilities, and now the elephant has arrived. What do you remember as being the sweet thing about the capabilities of elephants? Yeah, it's like, oh, look
The
at this
all
human
sweet thing?
characteristic that we value that this creature can do so well by itself. How cute.
I think it was to what degree do the mothers take care of their babies? And my favorite that's cute thing is how long it actually takes baby elephants to learn how to coordinate their trunk. Because let's be realistic, our children take like 5 years before they learn how to
True.
not kill themselves.
You actually went with cute moments.
You know, why? Oh,
For me, it was the idea of the elephant never
yeah.
forgets,
When
right?
Okay. Well, I still find it funny. You can look up. There's a lot of videos of this. Little baby. Well, they're not even baby. I mean, come on. They're like 4 years old at that point. Just running forward and with like their head thrown backwards because they know they're gonna step on their trunk
Why
and
do I
trip
feel
and
like
fall.
this has been on your feel-good video reel? Just a bunch of tripping baby elephants.
It is a feel good reel, except I don't have a feel good reel because I found this one video that just works. It just works. You know, just like how
works.
Todd Howard said Skyrim would work. It
Just
just works. Anyway, yeah, it just works. Anyway, my favorite feel good reel is like this. I think it's not even a 30-second, maybe a 20-second clip of a corgi lying on its back in someone's lap. And somebody synced. I have no idea which song this is. Might not be even any song, but like he taps the corgi a few times on the head, and every time there's like a toot 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 noise, and then he puts his hands next to the corgi's head, and the corgi just stops. You know, like opens his eyes wider, looks at the hand, and then he just like starts messing with it. And I think it's like synthwave starts playing at that point, and I just lose it every time.
Well, I think
It's
we
funny
found what's
every time.
capable of melting your heart, and we're gonna end on what's capable of melting mine. uh, yeah. Today's a shorter one though, but
Do tell.
so for me, when I am absolutely sad and miserable, the one thing that warms my heart is owls giving little nibble kisses to humans. Yes,
Oh,
because
okay.
I actually had a pet owl and I loved that girl.
By the way, ours.
She used to scream at my sisters. It made me feel powerful. I mean,
Why
no,
don't we
it's
get
more
another
the
one?
fact
Oh
that
wait, you have
it's
cats.
actually
Scratch
illegal
that.
to own them as pets. The owl that we owned, we got through Syria. Mm-mm. So like here, everyone
You
that
got
has
through.
owls are like
Okay.
animal shelters, and they're like, yeah, they're
Mm,
not for adoption.
yeah, you're gonna have to blank that
No,
bit
it's
out.
okay. The owl is long dead. God rest her soul.
So anyway,
That's okay.
oh man, I'm sorry, but no. My favorite thing about owls is, in this particular case, isn't their ability like to turn their heads almost 360 degrees. I know that I'm pretty sure they can't do that, but it looks like they
Yeah,
can.
I
I
think
know
they
they can turn them
can
180.
form like
That's
a
for sure.
near full
But
rotation.
I know they can
Oh
turn them
yeah,
like
that's
180 degrees, like no problem. That I know. But my favorite part is that they're
mm.
absolutely silent flyers. There's a video of a comparison between a pigeon and an owl, and the only time you hear the owl is when its claws make contact with like that thick leather glove it's supposed to land on, and not any point
Like the
before that.
pigeon is
With the
his
pigeon, you can
loudest
hear it from
owl.
start to finish.
But like
Yeah, it's just like.
the owl should be offended that they even use the pigeon as a comparison. That's like saying, okay, Usain Bolt, we're gonna clock your speed, and for comparison, here
And now
is
we're gonna
this
use Spark.
one-legged 93-year-old man with diabetes.
I was gonna use something better. That's a perfectly healthy, young, capable individual. Eric Cartman.
Or like a baby, you know, which can run fastest. You know, the owl should be insulted. They compared it with a pigeon.
I mean, to be fair, not even eagles are quiet. They're pretty damn loud when you actually listen to them fly. The thing is, they go so fast, and most of the time they don't even snatch. I mean, I know I've seen a video of it of an eagle not even snatching up their prey. They just the eagle literally just broke the seagull's
Yeah.
neck and then just came back to eat it. And you have to literally go frame by frame because it's in the frame
Wow.
for exactly one frame. It's just like, and it just you're just watching it all because it's a seagull and the seagull's on the floor. What happened? And then just like an eagle drops by, it's like, hi.
Here's a 20. Treat
Saw
yourself.
nothing, right? Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. I've got cliffhangers for the next episode.
Uh,
Okay. You know how there are always
Oh,
these
do tell.
fascinating ways to like jury rig things, like you want to assassinate someone and you've got a gun and bullets but no silencer, and you don't want to look like a Chad, so add a potato to it and boom, you have silenced bullet. Believe it or not, I legitimately heard that like potatoes are silencers.
I'm just gonna. Right. I'm just gonna remind people that Postal is a game that exists, and you should see what they use as
we are not
silencers
going to be
there.
those people. This is not 4chan. Okay,
I'm not
so
gonna say
the
it,
cliffhanger is
but
this.
look it up.
What's one time you jury rigged something based off of a popular
Mhm.
belief that it would work? Can't wait to hear your story, Patsy.
That's a good question. I know I
Exactly. Put
did,
some
but I'm gonna
thought
have to
into
like
it.
think of this.
Astound me. And extra points if it actually worked. Alright. Until next time.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Dear listeners.
Until next.
Adios.
All right. Adios.